everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report, and today for you we have a 18 threat match between the Avengers and the X-Men. Basically as close to the story Avengers vs X-Men you can get with the miniatures currently available, obviously missing some big players like Colossus, Emma Frost, etc, etc, but just, making do with the models available for now, and sadly waiting for the delayed Inhuman releases in the UK, and America's already got them. Europe, my friends in Europe don't even have a date, and for the UK it's the 26th, apparently. So, massive delay. I don't know if that's a Brexit thing or what, but it's affecting all of Europe, not just the UK, so that implies it isn't. Something went weird. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Let's take a look at the teams. So here are the 5 miniatures making up our 18th threat of Avengers, of course being led by Captain America to get the leadership bonus, and then in the other Wave 1 Avengers we have Thor, we have Iron Man, we have Black Widow, and because it's thematically apt, he was an Avenger at the time for Avengers vs X-Men, we have Wolverine, even though he did have a scuffle with Captain America, but they still ended up being on the same side eventually. Oh, and sorry, the tactics cards. Avengers Assemble, Second Wind, Exceptional Healing, Weapon X Program, and Reversal. Reversal is a card I'm liking more and more as I see it. And here is the X-Men team that we'll be seeing today, being led by Scott Summers, Cyclops for a change, so his Uncanny X-Men leadership ability will kick in. People nearby can pitch in power to make power costs cheaper. So the plan is Wong is going to bodyguard him to bring down his optic devastation and feed him power for that, and then also bring it down in cost when it's time to fire it. Storm is also here though. She does side with Cyclops for the first part of Avengers vs X-Men. Magneto does as well, but then eventually sees that Scott's becoming a worse version than him of being a dictator and sides with the Avengers. And then we have Beast. He doesn't like either side in the story, but hey, we're just making up the points here and have to make the affiliation bonus be at least 50%. So that is our X-Men and their cards. To me, my X-Men: Children of the Atom, Magnetic Crush, Magnetic Refraction, and Medpack. And here's the 2 objective cards played. The Extraction threat, which is the threat value being played, is Fear grips the world as worthy terrorized citizens. 4 Celestial Hammers on the map, 1 victory point for each hammer held. It gives you 1 extra attack die, but if you play a tactics card during your turn in which you're holding a hammer, you pay 1 more power. Then also the Secure was Deadly Meteors, so these are the 3 Origin Bombs. You score 3 victory points if you have majority of the Origin Bombs, and you get them by rolling fair defense dice, have more hits, crits and wilds than there are healthy enemy characters. So the hammers, there, and then on each corner with also one of the Origin Bombs, so technically the hammer should be on top of the Origin Bomb, but it's just to the side to show that they're both there. Same over this side as well, and then smack dab in the middle is the other Origin Bomb. So we'll get both sides deployed, see who's deploying on which side, and see who's going first. So we're all set up and ready to go. The X-Men are deployed to your left, the Avengers to your right, and it will be the X-Men taking first activation, so we'll look at their setup first. Beast is down here on his lonesome. Then we have a big cluster, Cyclops, Wong, and Storm. Magneto off by himself. He's set up his first metal construct right there within 3 of himself. And then if we come over to the Avengers line, Tony started up on this building. Black Widow is just in there, and then Wolverine and Steve are next to each other, and then Thor is up there by himself as well. So as said, it will be the X-Men taking first activation as we go into Battle Round 1 and get this started. It was Hank McCoy, the Beast, that got things started. He double medium moved with his larger base all the way over to this Origin Bomb and the Celestial Hammer. He paid 1 power to pick up the hammer and just ignored the Origin Bomb. He is now going to make it harder for that bomb to be claimed by being there while on his healthy side. But yeah, he's also holding a hammer, so he's getting stronger. Thor was up first for the Avengers, and he also double medium moved, but thanks to being an Asgardian and starting with 2 power, he had enough to spend 1 to pick up the Celestial Hammer that he landed within 1 of. And remember, it should have been on top of the Origin Bomb, it's just they were put to the side so that both could be visible. Then he also paid the other 1 to interact with the Origin Bomb and did successfully convert it. I'm not sure Magneto with his small movement will be able to reach to contest that. He will probably be able to hit Thor, but I'm not sure he can contest that Origin Bomb. Wong was up next and did his usual turn 1 play. For 1 action he meditated to give himself 1 power, and then he spent his 2 power on Faithful Assistant to give 1 power to Cyclops, and then he just moved forwards medium. Didn't go the full medium, he doesn't want to go too far forwards, he's just there to provide power. Iron Man was next up, and he started on top of the returning Triple X bar building. It's been a while since it's been on the table. He medium moved and flew down to the Origin Bomb. He spent his 1 power to interact with the Origin Bomb. He had to beat 1 because of Beast being there. With 3 energy dice, he failed. So the Origin Bomb stays neutral and he's essentially wasted his power, which is unfortunate. The mighty Magneto activated next, and one short move on his base size was not enough to get him within range 3 of Thor to reverse polarity him. So he just moved short again, but then spent his 2 power on, what is it called again? Fatal Attraction, to pick up the construct he had placed there, chuck it long, which was more than enough to hit Thor, so size 2 plus 1. Thor only managed to dodge 1, so he did take 2 damage. That didn't leave anything left for Magneto to try and convert that Origin Bomb over, but just wanted to start doing a little bit of damage to the Thunder God nice and early. Black Widow had started down there by that tree and moved long, 1.5 roughly, to also get to the Origin Bomb, to also spend 1 power like Iron Man did, and much like Iron Man, failed to convert it. Although she's only rolling 2 energy defense dice, so she's got an excuse. Tony doesn't really, not on 3. But yeah, so that Origin Bomb is still neutral, so is the middle. So currently the Avengers do have majority because Magneto didn't convert the one that Thor grabbed. And now it's over to Storm or Cyclops. So of those two, it was Storm who activated. She medium moved to twice to get all the way into the centre. She has 4 energy dice. She tried to convert the Origin Bomb and failed. She rolled a shield and 3 blanks, and you need hits, crits and wilds. That is a bad blow because that needed to succeed. So for the Avengers, it's over to Captain America or Wolverine. So of those two, it was Wolverine. He moved forwards to the far side of the hammer that started close to the Avengers deployment line and picked that up for his 1 power. Then he medium moved and is slightly off centre. It gives him options. He could go and help with this Origin Bomb next turn if he needs to. The middle one is right there, but he didn't have the power to try and convert it anyway, so he's left himself options. And now it is over to Cyclops, who I imagine will be having a very similar turn. So Cyclops moved to the far side of the closest hammer, spent 1 of his 2 power because 1 gave him 1 power to pick it up, and then he moved medium again, but that was not enough to get close enough to try and convert the middle Origin Bomb. So he's sitting on 1 power, he's waiting there, and it's over to Cap to end off battle round 1. So Steve Rogers did really the only thing he could. He double medium moved, he spent his 1 power to try and convert the middle Origin Bomb, and he failed. Only got 1 result, so unfortunately nobody is claiming that Origin Bomb or that one there. But that does mean that they're still going to score on it, and we'll discuss that more in a second as we go into the cleanup. So as is usual for these type of games, in Battle Round 1 both sides have managed to pick up equal amounts of the pick-upable objectives. 2 hammers for each side, so that's 2 victory points. The only Origin Bomb is of course this one over here, which means that the Avengers have the majority of 1 playing 0 of the 3. So they score 3 victory points for that. So as we go into Battle Round 2, they are on 5, the X-Men are on 2, and it will be the X-Men getting first activation again. Magneto got Battle Round 2 started, and I forgot how scary he could be. First of all, his metal construct was set up there, not that it particularly matters other than generating him 1 extra power. He did 2 reverse polarities on Thor, and because he was within 2, that means he got to reroll his attack dice. The first one did 3. The second one did 5, it only needed to do 1, thanks to the 2 damage he already had on him. So Thor is dazed. Magneto spent 1 power to pick up the hammer that Thor dropped, and then spent 1 power and successfully converted the Origin Bomb there. That was quite the turn. Captain America was first up for the Avengers. He stayed put because he was within 2 of Storm, and did 2 basic strikes on her strength 5 against her 3 physical defense dice. She actually fully blocked the first attempt. The second attempt did 2 damage, and then he spent 1 power to try and convert this middle Origin Bomb and succeeded despite their presence. So 1 Origin Bomb for the Avengers, 1 for the X-Men so far this turn, and it is back over to the X-Men. Wong was next up, and he repeated his first turn. He meditated for 1 power, he faithful assisted, I'm not sure how to make that past tense, to spend 2 to give Cyclops 1 power, and then he move, not a full move, just a move, right to where you can see him partially obscured by the cover there. So upon remembering that Beast has bad energy defense, Tony activated and did 2 repulsor blasts on him, which are 4 energy dice. First roll was 3 skulls and a blank. Second one was a hit and a wild, which does push him before any damage is dealt. Beast fully blocked it, but he was pushed away. So Tony spent his 1 power he generated this turn to try and convert the Origin Bomb, and as you can see, he failed. I think this battle might be taking place in the time period where he was a raging alcoholic, because he's not having a good day. Cyclops activated, he moved up for his first action. He then used the X-Men leadership ability to borrow a power from Storm so he could do a Optic Devastation for 4 power because he only had 3. And with the hammer, that was making an 8 die energy attack. He attacked Cap. Cap used a Vibranium Shield to try and defend against it. It only brought it down to 4 damage, so he's still hurting. Wolverine, he did worse, however. He took 5 damage, and also each of them had a power loss to the concussive force of the blast as well, which is a problem. And then, I think that's it. Did he have any power left? No, he had no power left, so he couldn't convert the Origin Bomb, but he's done enough. So Wolverine activated, and first of all played Second Wind. Any number of Avengers characters may play this, and he is an Avenger. Spend 1, although he and Cap both had to spend 2 because they're holding hammers. Characters that did that remove stun and heal 1, so each of them healed 1. Plus his healing factor 2 kicking in means he's healed 3 in his activation, so he's got 2 damage left on him in total. And Cap has 3 of his 5, I think. Anyway, then he did a Berserker Barrage on Storm just to try and guarantee knocking her out, and he succeeded, so she will not be getting a turn. He did 4, it only needed 3 to knock her out. It would have also thrown her as well thanks to a Wild, but didn't need to. Then he tried to do a basic strike. Oh, he moved because Berserker Barrage you're placed within 1 of the character you're attacking with it, within range 3. Then he did a basic strike on Cyclops, and he actually managed to fully block what was a terrible attack roll. The Avengers have had some absolutely appalling rolls, just so across the board so far. The X-Men rolls have been okay to average, I would say. So thanks to Storm not getting a turn, that means we're over to Beast as the final activation for the X-Men down here, and then back over to Black Widow for the Avengers. So Beast ended up doing 2 acrobatic strikes for his attacks within 3, the target has to be, and if you get a Wild you can be moved within 1, so that is why he is where he is. The first one only did 1 to Black Widow, he did a follow-up one, and it also only did 1 damage, and because there's 2 healthy characters there and he's 2 energy defense, he can't convert the Origin Bomb, so he is just ending his turn there. There is a chance that Black Widow will be able to convert it, so it's basically just down to that plus any damage she chooses to do to Beast. So for Black Widow's turn, she stayed where she was and did 2 of her basic strikes on Beast because they are energy and he has bad energy defense, and the damage done to him is hidden by the trees. The first one did 1 damage, the second one did 2 damage for a total of 3. She then also both had Wild in the roll, so Widow's Sting procced on both, sapping 1 power from him each time. And then she spent 1 power to try and convert the Origin Bomb. She's also got 2 energy defense, so she needed both to be hits, crits or wilds, and they were, meaning that that is now claimed by the Avengers. So then about round 2, the Avengers are maintaining their lead in victory points, but they are definitely suffering much more damage than the X-Men are. The X-Men also now have 3 of the Celestial Hammers, giving them 3 victory points for that. The Avengers have 1 hammer on Wolverine, giving them 1 victory point for that. But as a last minute action, thanks to Black Widow, they do have majority on the Origin Bombs because they hold the middle one as well, giving them a 2-to-1 majority, meaning that they do score the 3 victory points available for the Origin Bombs, meaning as we go into battle round 3, the X-Men are still going first, but the Avengers are leading 9 playing 5. Magneto once again got a battle round started, and Thor just isn't allowed to have a game today, as you can see. That's a single hit. He moved so that he was surrounded by size 3 or less scenery and played Magnetic Crush, which gives him a range for 6 up to 7 because he's holding a hammer, physical attack, but also, well, it costs him 5 first of all to play. Is this in focus? No, it's not. No, it is. When creating the dice pool for this attack, you can destroy any number of terrain features within 2 that are size 3 or less. He destroyed both his metal constructs. The other one had been placed down, didn't show it though, because it's already been destroyed, plus the smaller crystal formation here, so that was adding in another 6 dice. Thor's defense roll had 1 block in it, so he took 8 damage, which is exactly how much he has on his wounded side, so he's gone. The only thing he ever did in this whole match was fly forwards and pick up a hammer, and that was it. Well, and maybe convert the Origin Bomb, I don't remember. Either way, he's gone. Wolverine activated, he did a basic strike on Storm which did 3 damage and bled her, so that gave him enough to do a Berserk Barrage, both of which getting +1 extra die because he had a hammer, and that did an amazing 5 damage, so much like Thor, the other thunder themed person on the map basically did nothing the entire match. She is gone. He also healed the remaining 2 damage on him, so he is back to full health. So we were back over here next, despite what's going on in the centre, because Beast activated. He did a basic strike on Black Widow and it did 3 damage. It only needed to do 2, so she was knocked out. He then spent 2 power to pick up and chuck Iron Man into the car here, which does 1 impact damage. And it also meant, because he was still over there, that Iron Man was too far away to contest this, so he just needed 1 success, which he got when he spent 1 power to convert the Origin Bomb. He then, for his other actual action, did another basic acrobatic strike on Iron Man, which included a wild, which is why he's moved. And it also did 1 damage, all said and done. And his Invincible Iron Man didn't kick in for either, because it goes down to a minimum of 1. So speaking of which, now that Black Widow isn't getting a turn, it's over to either Captain America or Iron Man. So it was Tony who activated, and somebody needs to take the whiskey away from that man. He used Friday AI for 3 power to add 2 dice to his next attack, and he was doing his repulsor, which is energy based. And there's the roll for it right there. 2 skulls, a shield, and 3 blanks. Literally nothing. So then he did another one without Friday AI, and it was successfully blocked by Beast. He did nothing. Nothing at all. So now it's over to Cyclops to end the turn for the Avengers, and then back to Captain America. So Cyclops activated, although I was forgetting, Wong has not had a go yet. He fired his optical blast at Cap. Cap spent 2 for Vibranium Shield. Here's his defense roll, just if you need a further reminder that the Avenger dice rolls this match have been appalling. So he took 4 damage, he only needed 2, he is dazed. Then he spent then he fired another optical blast at Wolverine, and it did 4 damage to him. It did pretty well, of his 7, because he was back to full health. Then he spent 1 and did manage to successfully convert the middle Origin Bombs. All 3 are under X-Men control now as well, and Cap isn't getting a turn, so it's over to Wong now to end the turn. So Wong just meditated, then used his faithful assistant to give the power to Cyclops, and then backed off, because he has no reason to get in there. Magneto and Cyclops seem to have this whole thing covered, and that does take us to the end of Battle Round 3. So with Thor gone, 2 other Avengers are flipping over their card now, and that was a high scoring round for the X-Men. They hold all the Origin Bombs, so they have the 3 victory points for majority easily. They have 3 of the 4 hammers, so they gained 6 victory points in total, taking them to 11. The Avengers only got 1 victory point for Wolverine barely clinging on to a hammer. So as we go into Battle Round 4, the Avengers are getting first activation this time, but they're now losing 11-10. So Wolverine got the turn start for the Avengers, having finally stolen first activation. He did a Berserker Barrage on Cyclops for 4 damage, which included a throw, which did 1 damage. He still was standing though, because he wasn't damaged at all prior to that. He did a basic strike. It did really well, did much more than was required. It did 4, so Cyclops, totally forgot to grab a dazed token. Cyclops is dazed. He dropped his hammer, which Wolverine spent 1 to pick up. He also spent 1 to convert the Origin Bomb. And then he spent 2 on Avengers Assemble. 1 up to 2 because of the hammers. Actually, shouldn't it have been 3 because he's now holding 2 hammers? Yes. Did he have 1? He had 1 extra power, so that's going to have to go away as well. I think it's cumulative for every hammer held. So any Avengers can spend, and those that do advance small. He used it to get away from Magneto, because Magneto is scary. Beast activated and first of all spent 3 power or 4 power on his Animalistic Rage, or whatever it's called, his better attack, and it actually whiffed entirely. Then he did just a free basic one. Again, he is holding a hammer, so it's +1 attack die. It did 4 damage, so Black Widow is not getting a turn, and she has been removed from play. So Tony the Drunkard activated. He Repulsor Blast Beast and did actually manage to get 1 damage through, and a wild to push him backwards into the tree, but no impact damage from a push. He then moved so he could convert the Origin Bomb. He spent 1 power, and he did actually do it. So currently the Avengers do have majority, but Magneto and Wong still have to go, whereas just Cap has to go for the Avengers. So Wong shuffled his way back to the Origin Bomb. He spent 1 power and converted it. He deliberately did not attack Cap because he doesn't want to give him power. So he's just ending his turn there. Captain America has to activate. He's going to try and convert and then probably run away. Magneto will have to double move to get round Cyclops to get within 1 to convert it if Captain America is successful. So yep, Cap did manage to convert the Origin Bomb. Then he moved medium to roughly there. He could technically have done a shield throw against Beast to try and knock him out, but Cyclops has enough power to do an optical devastation, and the mutants are getting first turn next turn. So instead, oh actually, are they? I've forgotten who went first this turn. Either way, he double moved to there, and it is over to Magneto to try and convert this bomb to end the turn. So Magneto did exactly that. He double small moved. He converted the Origin Bomb at the cost of 1 power successfully, and of course it was the Avengers who finally went first turn this turn, so it will actually be them getting first turn in what will be, one way or the other, the final battle round, I'm sure. But let's do cleanup. So here was me thinking that there would be a battle round 5, however, with Magneto claiming the Origin Bomb majority again, that isn't the case, because they were on 11 victory points at the start of a turn, I believe it was. They still have 2 hammers. Magneto's been holding one since stealing it from Thor turn 1, or turn 2, and Beast has one for 2 victory points. They have the Origin Bomb majority for 3. That takes them precisely to the 16 victory points required for winning, whereas the Avengers only got 2 victory points, taking them up to 12. Now, if they'd kept the majority, it would have put them 1 away from winning, and we would have had a really tight final round, but that last minute control of this middle objective has ended this game. So that was a bit of a mixed bag for, well, both teams to a certain extent, but the Avengers, man, their roles this match were appalling across the board. Wolverine was actually okay. I think he's the one exception. Thor didn't even get the chance to roll dice, except defense dice, I suppose, but even then. Magneto is just terrifying. He fell into the trap of the magnetic crush, which is just powerful as it is, let alone when you have a hammer. Beast was more resilient than I was expecting. Tony, though, what is the opposite of MVP? WVP, like worst very person? Let's go with that. The Iron Man from the core box in general is just basically garbage at this point, thanks to power creep. But couple that with just rolling really, really, really badly, and he did nothing. He did like 3 damage to Beast. Beast is pretty, well, no, Beast isn't pretty defensible because he was doing repulsor blast, so Beast was getting 2 defense dice. Tony just had a terrible match there. I really hope they bring out another version of Iron Man soon, like Ultimate Iron Man, a Hulkbuster, anything, honestly. I like Iron Man, but I don't like the core box Iron Man because he sucks. Anyway, Magneto was fantastic. The chaining power from Wong to Cyclops, and then also having another X-Men member close enough that he can optical beam more often, didn't work as effectively. He only managed to do the one. He had another one prepped, but that was because he was about to die, or he got dazed, so he was sitting on a bunch of power. Magneto carried the team, I feel, but that's because he's Magneto, so what do you expect? Anyway, that was a fun one. We'll get a new table set up for next time. I hope you enjoyed. Please do show your support. And until then, ta for now.